Welcome back, my friends and family. AVS here, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Today I'm going to show you the information regarding what is taking place in Ceuta that the mainstream media is not showing. The BBC is not showing. Sky News is not showing. And it's absolutely insane. We're going to start off with this clip, and then I'm going to give you some context, because there is a missing link. There's a lot of footage and a lot of information, but there's a missing link that nobody's really talking about, and I'm going to prove that to you today. Take a look at this video. So you may be wondering, what did you just witness? What exactly is going on right here? Well, apparently the Moroccan police empty entire truck loaded with military-age males so they can storm the Spanish border. Everything is organized and planned. And we're going to go through the evidence of this today, because as criminal Pedro Sanchez is greeted in Ceuta, take a look at how the public treat him. The Spanish natives are absolutely furious with this, in my opinion, evil, wicked, corrupt politician, and he's a career politician. Now, here's what they're not showing on the mainstream media. Before we keep going, I want to say, once again, the notifications haven't gone out to everybody, so if you are here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and share the live stream with your friends and family. Let's get this information out there. Normally, when it's very important information such as this, that the mainstream is not reporting on, for some reason, the notifications haven't gone out straight away, or haven't gone out at all. But anyways, let's keep going. Think about just how insane this is, right? You see the mainstream, they keep saying that these are migrants coming over. Well, do migrants, people who are fleeing and needing safety, burn down the countries that they are going into? How does that make any sense whatsoever? It doesn't. Because these are not migrants, they're not asylum seekers just trying to, they're not asylum seekers seeking asylum. They are invaders. It's very, very obvious. Look, they're burning down multiple places on the border. Now, if you want to know what exactly is going on here, if you're just coming in or if you don't know about this situation somehow, a Spanish city with only around 84,000 residents has reportedly received between 60,000 plus illegal arrivals in approximately 1 day. At least 34 of those people are now dead, actually, according to this report. And the Spanish army has now been deployed, apparently. Vehicles have been burned. Residents are reporting break-ins, which is literally what I said would happen yesterday. And I'm going to show you the evidence of that. They are now squatting in Spanish natives' homes. And here's the missing key, which I'm also going to show you evidence of. This happened just after Morocco's king pardoned 1,788 convicted criminals, including murderers, rapists, allegedly. And we're going to go through all of this information today. But just so you realize how weird this situation is, why it seems coordinated, is because it probably is, in my opinion. What do you think? Now, moving on, here is the Spanish police trying to remove the Islamists who are just flooding the borders right now. So as you can see, the migrants are literally throwing stones at the police. And this is only the start. Here's more footage of them invading other regions of Spanish territory. Notice how the police are just standing around as well. And here's the nighttime situation that was unfolding. Look at how many. Look at how many there are. Why are they not telling people about this on the mainstream? They're really downplaying it on the BBC, on Sky. But yeah, you get the point. And here is another place where they are setting vehicles on fire. So do you really think that these people are here with good intentions? Just trying to flee war-torn countries, as they say? What's going on in Morocco exactly that they're fleeing from? Look at how they treat the police, the Spanish native police, as they drive past. You know why this is actually happening? It's because of this absolute criminal, okay? This absolute criminal here, Sanchez. Radio Ganoa says, catch this criminal and lock him up in prison. Europe for Europeans. This guy has completely sold out Spain, and he's made a way for Europe to actually suffer even more. I came across this post that I wanted to show you as well, posted by American News. It says, supposedly, the immigrants who arrive in Ceuta have been swimming for plus 6 hours. How is it possible that this guy has arrived by bicycle swimming for 6 hours? Something strange is happening. Yeah, look, this is a very strange clip. Look at this guy coming out the sea with a bike.
En bicicleta por el agua.
Yeah, crazy, right? And they're already getting helped. Look, people are already helping these illegals enter into Spanish territory. Now, the more we look into this situation, the weirder it gets, and the more obvious it gets that they are not here for peace. Look. There's no audio on this, but they're just storming through the streets, kicking people's motorbikes, burning vehicles. Look, why? Why would any quote-unquote asylum seeker do this? They wouldn't do it, right? Let's just be real. Asylum seekers who are really actually seeking asylum because they're running from something and want safety, don't go to the land that they're seeking safety from and catch it on fire. That makes no logical sense. But that's what these insane lefties want us to believe. And what the mainstream media continually propagates for is, oh, they're coming here because they're fleeing a war-torn country and they need help. Well, why are they burning our country down? I already showed this clip yesterday, but it's just 13 seconds, just for anyone who missed it. This is how many came in yesterday. Just some of the many that came in yesterday. Look at it. It's hordes and hordes and hordes of people. We're going to get to the new information regarding the pardoning of the convicted criminals in Morocco. Before we do, though, I want to read this tweet to you from Adaluch, who has actually made quite a name for herself out in Spain regarding freedom of speech and immigration. And she said, there are thousands of military-aged Moroccans illegally crossing the border to Spain through Ceuta. They are already causing terror in our streets. The government of Spain has betrayed all of us, Spaniards. Pedro Sanchez will burn down the entire country before leaving power. Yeah, Pedro Sanchez is an absolute criminal in my opinion. And this video here is something I want to ask you guys about. If you was an asylum seeker, which you're not, obviously, but if you was, would you vlog the entire thing? Would that be your priority? Just think about it. Would your priority be, oh, let me get myself a selfie stick and upload some videos to Instagram while I swim across the border? It has to be one of the stupidest things that these lefties believe. It's just these people trying to get into Europe for various reasons. And many of those reasons, you will find out later on, are very dark. They are fleeing from criminal charges, murders, rapes, which they are meant to be sentenced for, and they've just fled Morocco. Some have fled the Netherlands, apparently, to get into Europe and quote-unquote seek asylum. Here's more footage from the streets of Ceuta.
هاتوما الإخوان كنزيدو نقربوكم من الصورة من العلو واخا مقبسين فين دا مقبسين مهرسين باقي لا قبس لا والو كنحاولوا نوريكم الصورة من هنايا. هاتوما هذا الرامبوان ديال الديوان، هذا الرامبوان ديال إيبيس. هات منظر بنادم كيفاش عامل. شوف 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 اللهم بارك. انا غنزومي شي حاجه. شوف شوف لا والو الزوم ما خدامش. سي.
So just let this settle in for a second, right? These trucks, I'm going to play this one clip one more time because the notifications hadn't really gone out when I played it earlier, and then we're going to segue into the real deep information. But look, this is what happened just before the invasion of Ceuta. The police there's videos of police unloading trucks. Look how many of them there are. Of these Moroccans, these Islamists. Look how many there are, man. Just jumping off of a truck in the middle of the street. And the police are just directing them, saying, go down there. Look, go down there, go down there. Seems to be what he's saying, right? So, let's get into it now. Alex Phillips says, it does not happen by fluke or magic or coincidence that thousands of people suddenly decided to storm the borders in mass on the same day. It has been organized, that is clear, which makes it an invasion. Where is the military? Brilliant point. Where is the military? Where is it? And Adaluch added on, so allegedly, the invasion of Ceuta was organized through 5 Facebook groups. So the information is coming out now. I hate double standards. Why does Meta ban conservatives over very mild comments, but allow the plot of an invasion? I believe in free speech, but only as long as it goes both ways. So yeah, there was groups apparently on Facebook arranging this invasion from Morocco and Spain. Let that settle in. And now this is the information I really want everyone to grasp, because I believe this man is heavily involved in what took place yesterday. I believe that. I can't prove it right now, but I believe it. It says yesterday, Mohammed the Mohammed of Morocco granted a pardon to over 2,000 prisoners. Today, they have poured into Spain and Europe. We are in a religious war. Now, do you think that there's a connection between this man, Mohammed, happens to be called Mohammed, right? Happens to be that there's loads of Islamists coming into the West, and it happens to be that he pardoned over 2,000 convicted prisoners just before they flooded the Spanish border. Seems a little bit suspicious to me. Seems a little bit suspicious. And this man here is, I have some evidence about this guy that's going to blow your mind. But first of all, I want to play you this clip of Ada Luch giving her information that she wants to share.
I am from Spain, and honestly, I am so heartbroken after watching all the videos that are coming from Ceuta and Melilla today. And truth to be told, Pedro Sanchez has been allowing the invasion of our nation for quite a long time. But these past few days, things has gotten completely out of control. A flow of illegal migrants has started crossing illegally the border from North Africa to Ceuta for the past few days. And since the government of Spain did absolutely nothing to stop it or to deport them right away, they got the message. They understood it. It is okay to cross illegally to Spain. So what are they doing? They are coming in masses. Militarily aged men are crossing illegally the border of Spain, and not only in Ceuta. Now they started in Melilla as well because fuck it, we are allowing it to happen. And by we, I mean our corrupt and stupid and criminal government. Of course, I'm not talking about the people because we don't want this to happen. These people have been inside our country for what, 5, 6, 7 hours, maybe 12 at max, and they have already started to terrorize us. They are already burning cars, as you can see here. They are already getting inside our homes. They are already scaring us, hurting us, etc. And guess what? We've been saying that for quite a long time. I actually was called a racist just for pointing out that mass migration is directly correlated to more crimes and more violent crimes. This is a freaking invasion of our country, the country of Spain.
And not only Spain, Europe. You know, it's very true what many of you are saying, to secure the borders of France, because if we don't sort out what's going on in France, it's going to come over to the UK. And they're already coming over to the UK anyway.
Our government is doing nothing about it. They actually said that it is controlled. Guess what? It's not controlled. They are still coming in. They are still terrorizing us, and it's not looking great tonight. It's gonna be a hard night in Ceuta and Melilla. And afterwards, they are gonna arrive to our peninsula, to Spain, and they will keep terrorizing us. And honestly, I have this weird feeling that Pedro Sanchez is enjoying this so much because he knows the next elections he's gonna be out of power because we freaking hate him in Spain. As Spaniards, we hate him. And the second that he's out of power, he's gonna go to jail. Pretty much. I'm pretty sure about that. So he's probably cheering for this to happen because he's winning votes, and that's what he needs. He desperately needs votes to stay in power so he doesn't up behind bars for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
But justice will prevail, and we will take our country back, and we will learn from history because we cannot allow history to repeat itself. And Pedro Sanchez, Dirty Sanchez, will end up in jail.
Yeah, so this is what many Spanish people believe, that Sanchez is so corrupt that he's doing anything he possibly can, including importing votes, to stay in power, because the moment he's out of power, he's going to face criminal charges. And there's so much evidence now. Look, here's Tommy Robinson's post from earlier. He said, if you're wondering why Sanchez isn't even attempting to stop the invasion of Spain, wonder no more. It's all by design. And here is Sanchez, and guess who? His connection to the Soros family, if I'm not mistaken. And these billionaires who are funding lefty agendas, in my opinion, are extremely, extremely dangerous. It's not even a joke, you know, and many of you were pointing this out about what's happening in Spain is exactly what happened to America under the Biden administration. Everyone's seeing what's happening in Spain today and forgetting this was the United States under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Zero border security, millions of unvetted migrants still inside our country, and many of them are Islamists. Let's not forget that. That's what's making it so dangerous. Look at how many are coming over, man, into America. This was back then. I believe this is 2021. Absolute madness. And it's pretty much exactly what is happening to Ceuta right now, but in my opinion, not even as bad. This is nowhere near as bad as what's happening in Spain right now. Europe is being completely attempted to be taken over. And the more we dig into this information and we find out, like, why would they do this? Why would there be so many migrants just flooding into Europe? Is there something that happened? Well, yes, there is. Spain gave amnesty to illegals. Basically, if you get over to Spain now, well, before, you could just get given amnesty, even if you was an illegal. Take a look.
Chaos at the border of Spain's North African enclave in Morocco. This is a city called Ceuta. You're watching as thousands of migrants break through the fence and completely overwhelm the border police. Their video showing huge groups of people, mostly young military-age guys, cramming into inflatable tubes or arriving on shore in other ways, some of them wading in the water as they break through the gates to get to the other side. Sandra, this is reminiscent of kind of what we saw during the open border during the Biden administration through 2021, 2024, kind of similar to what we saw in Del Rio back in 2021. The socialist agenda, their platform literally says they want to abolish borders, abolish immigration enforcement, have complete freedom of movement. This is what it looks like in another country if they get what they want. Notice there is no resistance from the government whatsoever. These people are coming in without any obstruction. And if people don't know, Spain has a very left-wing government. Earlier this year, they did a big amnesty program for over 1 million illegal immigrants living in the country. They had 1.3 million illegal immigrants apply for that amnesty program between April and June. So that's what we call a pull factor, Sandra. They're looking for something like that. They know if they can just get their foot in the country, maybe someday that left-wing government will do another amnesty program. And
there you go. Fox hit the nail on the head with that one. Literally, they get exactly what's going on.
We're just reading some of the wires. The locals want an emergency declaration. It sounds like
the ministry's saying no, and they will not deploy military to the border.
Apparently, they don't think this is an emergency. I mean, look at this. This is a total free-for-all.
It does feel like we are looking at a few years ago when you were reporting at the border here in the United States. This is happening right now. This story is breaking right now, and you're not just talking about hundreds, thousands of migrants are pouring over the borders as we speak.
Yeah, and again, I mean, just look here. Do you see any women or children? I mean, most people would call these folks so-called asylum seekers. These are all young guys just flooding into the country and overwhelming what, if any, border there is. It looks like there's just kind of a small barbed wire fence or something like that. But you can see the Spanish government is caught completely off guard here, and you have thousands of these men. I mean, it literally looks like, you often hear the word invasion, but it literally looks like one here. Look at that. I mean, you see the border fence there. They're all just going around it. And again,
the head of Spain's civil guard is calling this absolute chaos. In a brand new interview, he said, quote, "It's not possible to give precise numbers, but there are thousands of migrants crossing right now." He added that the border has totally collapsed, quote unquote.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. And for folks who don't know where this is a small Spanish city, autonomous in North Africa. It's actually in Morocco, but it does have Spanish autonomy. It's called Ceuta. So this isn't on the mainland of Spain, but these images, we've been looking at them on social media all morning. It's just stark to see that there is no resistance whatsoever. I mean, at least in Del Rio back in 2021, when those 20,000 Haitians were crossing the river, similar images to this, you had some border patrol there. You had Texas DPS there trying to stop them. Here in Spain, there is absolutely nothing stopping these folks from wading ashore and climbing the fences. And Sandra, look at that in the background. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of these men just flooding the country.
So you get the point, right? That's actually happening. And the reason why many believe is because they think they're going to get amnesty. They think they're going to be able to become naturalized citizens of Spain, basically. At least that's their goal. Now, Vicegrad24 posted this. They said, in Ceuta, 2 newly arrived Moroccan migrants carrying a baby broke into a house through a broken window using a ladder. Less than 6 hours after the illegal invasion, they became occupants, squatters. And this is exactly what I said would happen yesterday. Remember, guys, they're going to go to Spain, I said this, and they're going to squat. And the laws of squatting in Spain is so disgusting against the people that why wouldn't they do it? Take a look. No sound on this video, but basically what you're looking at is a man hammering a house window, and there's another angle of this that you can take a look at here. And there's also another video here. This is absolutely disgusting. And yeah, it's unbelievable. But sadly, in this world, it's not even unbelievable anymore. We're not even surprised. I mean, you tell me, are you surprised when you see this anymore? Because I'm not. This has become normal in the West. It's become normal. The left have absolutely just destroyed peace in the Western world. And they don't get it. That if they don't start to realize how dangerous these people are and what their ideology actually teaches them, about the left as well, not just the right, not just Christians, not just Jews, but everybody in the Western world who is not an Islamic person, who is not an Islamist, who is not a Muslim, they are going to be in for a very, very big shock when, if, should I say, not when, I'll say if these people do decide to turn militant. Which, I mean, burning cars, smashing windows, entering homes, robbing people, raping people, murdering people. I mean, that seems pretty militant to me. But what I mean is, what if they start organizing? What if they start organizing to take over lands? Then what? You know, as many have said, what if there's sleeper cells? What if the orchestration of this is far more military orientated than people have even imagined? And, well, I'm not going to say too much, but you let me know what you think. You let me know what you think, people. They're breaking into homes in Spain. Absolutely disgusting behavior. I will show you this video as well. I mean, this post as well from Noah Borg. She says, thousands of fighting-age men who invaded Spain today have begun breaking into people's homes where women and children live. It's an invading army. This is what an invasion looks like. What do you think? You know, look, not a single woman or child in this massive crowd here. Is that normal for asylum seekers, quote unquote? Is that normal? And here's more footage of, well, actually, I want to read this, how Dr. Malouf explains it. He says, terrifying. Moroccan invaders continue to break into homes in Ceuta, Spain. These are the most violent criminals, rapists, and terrorists who were freed by the Moroccan king yesterday and bussed to the border, which hopefully I've proved that to you, or at least shown you enough evidence to make that a possibility in this live stream, and we've got a lot more to go through. A possible mass rape of women and girls is now underway, is what he says, and here's the video footage of them breaking into homes, apparently. Look how many are going in. Look. Look at how many of them are trying to get into this one house. And they all squat in there together. That's what they do in Spain. They break into people's homes and they squat in people's homes. It's absolutely insane. So we have so much evidence of this now. And not only are they doing that, they're also burning buses. Just normal buses. They're just burning them down. Civilian buses.
لا لا هذه ما حيقودوها اصلا شوفوا
And this post is very concerning to me. I watched the video attached to it by Vicegrad again, and they said Spanish military and police are helping migrants illegally enter Spain. I was like, no way, dude. I mean, I know it's probably true, but come on. Today, Ceuta woke up with thousands of migrants breaking into people's homes and occupying them, while those who failed to become squatters slept on the streets. And here's the police apparently helping them, helping the illegals. They're just standing around, look. Look at that. This is crazy. The police and the army just standing around. Look at that. This is unreal. Absolutely unreal. Now, this clip's in Spanish, but I'll show you what it's about in a sec.
¿Por qué no te quedas en Marruecos? ¿Por qué decides venir a España?
This guy on the right is a migrant, an illegal migrant who's come over to Spain.
Ya, yo vine a España porque quiero cambiar la vida, ¿sabes? Tengo problemas en Marruecos, no quiero volver a Marruecos.
¿Qué problemas? ¿Qué problemas tienes en Marruecos? ¿Qué
Tengo
te pasa?
problemas que la gente con una colega que muerte, yo no
So he's basically saying that he's come over to Spain. He has problems. He's come over to Spain and he's committed murder. Yeah, he's a murderer, this guy, basically.
puede sentar ahí porque hablar cosas no buenas para mí, ¿sabes? Puedes morir una persona y yo o la otra persona.
So yeah, and here's the look. One of Moroccans who invaded Spain openly admits to the media that he's fleeing a murder charge. So this guy is a convicted, well, not convicted, but he's fleeing a murder charge. He probably is a murderer, right? And he's coming into Spain. These are the types of people coming into Spain illegally, freed from their Moroccan Mohammed, right? And these are the types of people being put in danger, by the way, right? The innocent women and children of Spain, men as well, but these are the innocent women of Spain that are now going to have to deal with psychopathic Islamists roaming their streets because of a sick left-wing government who couldn't control the borders. And you need to understand this. Like, these are the people who suffer. The women, the children, and the men as well. But men, you should be able to defend yourselves, right? You should be able to carry yourself properly on the street. But that being said, a lot of these Islamists are savages with weapons and stuff. But you know, as men, we should care more about the women and children. And here's a woman on her way to work. Look how distraught she is. Look how distressed she is in Ceuta. A Spanish woman.
Itu semua masih di dalam situ, madre mia. Semua masih di dalam kota.
She said everyone is still inside the city.
Ini aku naik taksi.
I'm taking a
karena
taxi because I
tidak
do not feel
yakin situasinya
sure about this
pagi
situation
ini.
this morning.
Apalagi bosku
Especially
masih
since my boss is still
belum memerintahkan tutup
has not ordered the shop to
tokonya.
close yet.
Jadi kita harus masuk semua.
So we all have to go in today.
Ini on the way.
This is on the way to
Tempat
the
kerja.
workshop, the workplace. Look how many migrants there are. Look at this.
Banyak gelandangan baru ini.
There are many new homeless.
Ini di pusat kota nih.
This is the city center here.
Lihat tuh gerombol
Look at that.
semua di
All the
situ.
sheep are over there. I mean, I wouldn't call them sheep.
Nih, kayak gini.
I'd call them wolves. She said, look at this. Look.
Madre mia, hay
Oh, my
mucho en el
mother.
centro.
There are many in the center.
Hay mucho en el centro.
There are many in the center.
Uy, uy, uy.
Oh. Yeah, so these are the people who are suffering from this. And this Spanish man, he's getting interviewed. And he's basically saying we open the border to beasts, right? To savages. And is he wrong? Let's just be honest. Is he wrong here? These are the native Spanish people knowing what's going on. These people are absolute savages. And if you want to know just how sick the left are, look at this ignorant lefty woman here. See, she's literally welcoming them. Look at that. Look at this idiocy. This is absolutely stupid. Does she not realize that she could be one of their future victims? Now, on top of that, right, we have the natives of Spain fighting back, but the police seem to be punishing the natives who are fighting off the Islamist invaders, the Moroccans who have come over illegally. These are the natives just attacking the illegals now. And here's even more evidence of this from a better view. Now look at how the police deal with the situation. You see, so the Spanish natives are coming out in force and basically saying they don't want this in their lands. But I want you all to... I've shown you this clip before, right? I've shown you this clip before, but I want you all to just remember, and many of you may have not been there for this clip. This is the ideology that is coming over to the West. It's just a 1 minute, 55-second clip, and everybody needs to be aware of this. He said the civilization of France and the West is a civilization of lies, sins, and a civilization of atheism and heresy. They said they hate the religion of Allah, the religion of monotheism, apparently. They said their civilization is one of prostitution, promiscuity, and homosexuality. And these are the people coming over to the West, by the way. So they say this about our lands, and then they come here. Why do you think they're coming here? They said this is why they harbor feelings of hatred towards Muhammad. Actually, maybe it's because he was a pedophile and a rapist and a murderer, and people who follow him seem to be going in the same footsteps as him. Nothing to do with what he just claimed. It's just psychopathic reasoning that he has. He said, "Oh Macron, know your place." And then he said, with jihad, they will destroy their honor. They said, "Oh Macron, you're a lowlife." And they said, tomorrow we will conquer Paris. They said, from the Al-Aqsa Mosque, they say to Macron, the enemy of Allah and his messenger. Receive the tidings, and then they said the enemies of Allah and his messenger, talking about Muhammad. They said, with that which will displease you. It said, soon enough, there will be a rightly guided caliphate. Ya rebuke that in Jesus' name. These people are wicked. These people want to destroy the Western world. They want to murder people in the Western world. They said in the path of Muhammad. They said its great armies will advance. And then they said they will say Allah, and that typical Islamist thing they say. And then they said that about Allah again. They said they're going to invade France and conquer Rome. And they said, we will remove your corrupt civilization. And they will apparently purge the land from the filth of their capitalism. Because obviously these people don't like capitalism. They don't like freedom. They don't like freedom of speech. They are a death cult. They are wicked, evil people, which is why they ally with the left, communism, socialism, because they want to use these systems to overthrow democracy and infiltrate the governments, the education systems, and then over time put Sharia, which is Islamic law, as the law of the land, where women would have to be dressed in head to toe in black sheets, where they would be stoned to death, their witness would be half of a man, etc., etc. You know, marriage to children would basically be allowed. It's completely sick what they want to do. See, they want to bring their devil, Allah, their evil demonic filth, over to the West. And they want to turn it into a civilization of Islam, basically. And they said the people of Europe will realize, apparently. And they said they're going to declare jihad for the sake of their demonic Allah. So yeah, you get the point. The reason I'm showing you that is because I believe that many people don't quite realize the root of this issue. The root of this issue is because Islam wants to take over the world. Islam is not peaceful. Islam is deception, it is delusion, it is evil at its core. The doctrines, the teachings, Muhammad himself, those who follow after Muhammad and actually replicate his life, go on to commit vile atrocities. And the BBC, they've been covering it up. They don't want to talk about the truth. They don't want to show you exactly what's taking place. Scotty TMBE says, the BBC going to cover these migrants in Spain? The only report on things the left want them to. What Labour want them to. Cancel TV licenses, hit them where it hurts. They're the most scumbag media around, corrupt. Right? So, yeah, cancel your TV licenses if you want to, people, because that is how you get to these people. You go after their money. They go after our money, so why not go after theirs? Now, this image here is a Spanish woman. This video here is a Spanish woman. She's trying to do an interview, right? And she's surrounded by these absolute wild people who are just laughing while she's crying in tears. Take a look. These are the illegals that have come over.
Rocío. Es que estoy temblando, es que de verdad esto es para vivirlo. Esto es para vivirlo como mujer, esto es para vivirlo. Esto es una invasión, han empezado por Ceuta, pero esto es la frontera a España, la frontera a Europa. Hoy ha sido Melilla, mañana será Canarias, pasado será Tarifa. De verdad, es que no hay derecho.
Look at them laughing.
Rocío.
Look at them just laughing at her crying. They're so vile, man. Said, this image is absolutely brutal. A Spanish woman crying while she's surrounded by illegal migrants. What a disgrace, all of it. This country doesn't deserve the trash leaders we have. Yeah, they really don't care about the society. They don't care about the people of the land, the natives. And look, this is a very interesting image that I feel led to show you, right? If you look at the orange lands, these are Islamic lands, okay? And this is what people believe the migrant routes are. They go up to Sicily, they head through Rome, and they get into this part of Europe. They cross over to Sardinia here, then over to Corsica, and then they cross over there. Or they just stay there in Sardinia and whatever. Or they come across here, which is what we witnessed recently. Them coming up through into Spain, heading into Paris, and then they haven't put the arrows into Europe, but I mean into the UK, but we know what they do on the beaches of France. They come straight into the United Kingdom. And it's just vile. This is what they're doing. This map is very, very accurate in regards to what they are aiming for. They want to own Spain again. They want to retake Spain, and then they want to take Paris, and then they want to take the UK. And they just are going to keep on trying and trying and trying. Now, very strong leadership is what we need. Marine Le Pen said, I will immediately conduct mass deportations. Mass immigration has been a disaster to France. She is France's last hope regarding politics. Take a look.
30,000 titres
We're entering... Whoa. Is that accurate? 230,000 immigrants are apparently entering France every year.
30,000 titres légaux, immigrés légaux qui rentrent chaque année dans notre
And she says, I'm not counting
sans compter
the
les
illegal
clandestins.
immigrants.
L'immigration
Immigration weighs on our country. It's not a chance, but it is a big disaster. Today we have 7 million unemployed and 9 million in poverty, and I will solve these problems. I intend to expel immediately and all flagged as extremists in connection with jihadism, because there is no reason to keep people on our territory who represent a danger to the security of French citizens. Exactly. This lady knows what the issue is. She knows that these people are coming to commit jihad, and that is why she is being slandered and teared down by the media in such a brutal way. Now, remember earlier I showed you this post from Tommy Robinson where he said, if you're wondering why Sanchez isn't even attempting to stop the invasion of Spain, etc., etc., and then I showed you his connection to Soros. I scrolled down, I found this tweet later on that was connected from Johnny Saint Pete, and he said, on a long enough timeline, all roads will always lead back to Soros and Obama. And then I came across this video, and it's very interesting.
Congresos de Sevilla, donde han debatido sobre migraciones, señalando que el camino pasa por tender puentes.
How come I look younger and you? I look older and you look younger. Yes. No, maybe a little more gray.
And isn't it a bit weird when men hold hands for so long?
In this rather idyllic little oasis here that is owned by Spain. But Spain's done something in the recent months that has caused an absolute and total collapse of the border in Ceuta that is happening right now. And it is something that looks like a World War Z. It looks like a zombie movie as the hordes of third worlders from Morocco and Africa have stormed the gates of this little Spanish oasis because of Spain's migrant policies and their new court rulings that says you cannot turn away migrants and send them home.
Think how crazy that is. And I want to tell you something. You know the video I did a few days ago? It was probably like 5-6 days ago now, when I showed the connection between the Fabians, Charles, and the Islamists that have infiltrated the education system with evidence on screen. And then I showed the institutes that they have set up, and I showed you that on screen as well, with quotes and challenges. Everyone remember that? If you wasn't there for it, don't worry about it. Maybe we'll go over it again in the future, possibly. But the reason I want to tell you about that is YouTube blocked that video. They didn't only just demonetize that video. That video is blocked, meaning you're not even allowed to watch it. You can't watch it. It's not public anymore, right? I didn't get a strike for it, but it's blocked. And just pretty interesting, right? Just pretty interesting that certain information, certain dots that other people haven't connected and haven't shown through facts, or maybe they have and their videos are also blocked, those videos are not available anymore. Just thought it was something I wanted to tell you guys about. Anyways, Danny Tomo posted this. He said, a full-scale invasion. Migrants are now yelling Allah while invading Melilla, Spain tonight. Yet another Spanish border overrun. And here's the clip attached to that. So if you needed any more evidence that these people are Islamists, they always come over to the countries yelling these things about Allah. Isn't that obvious? By the way, thank you, Moses, for the 10 gifted memberships. 10 people in the chat would have got free membership now, so you can thank Moses for that. Thank you very much for the support, Moses. I greatly appreciate that. And also, thank you, Bradley. I appreciate you for your support. God bless you, bro. Now, moving on to this situation here. Breaking. Vox Party leader Santiago Abascal demands Pedro Sanchez deploys the military against the invaders on Spain's borders immediately. The majority of Spain agrees with him. Well, I believe the majority of the world agrees with him, right? We need our borders secure. We need the illegals removed. We need the people who are violent criminals to be either arrested for life or sent back to their country, preferably sent back to their country and never allowed back into our country, because we don't want them costing us money, tax-paying money. Now, this man is a very brave man, this guy you're looking at on screen. Santiago Abascal. He also challenged Sanchez to his face, and he called him an indecent man, a corrupt man, and a traitor. And here is the evidence of that.
Señor Sánchez, ¿se encuentra usted bien? ¿Ha desayunado esta mañana? ¿Cuánto dinero de los españoles ha ido a su hermano, a su mujer, al clan del Peugeot, a su partido y a empresarios corruptos? ¿Cuánto dinero de los españoles se ha ido por las cloacas de las tramas de corrupción que le rodean? Porque mientras su entorno robaba, los españoles pagan impuestos muy elevados. Para que algún...
Look at this absolute scumbag, man. And the reason why this is so close to me is because I'm half English and half Spanish. So this is relating to me completely. I know they're attacking my bloodline in Spain, and they're trying to come and attack the rest of my bloodline here in England. So, you know, I am a European, and we Europeans need to stick together. We need to get these corrupt politicians out. They need to be removed from power, and they need to face criminal charges for the criminal acts that they have done, because it is absolutely dangerous. Now, Santiago Abascal also went on to say the Iranian regime and the Venezuelan one have been behind the financing of the far left in Spain over the last 15 years. You see these dots that the mainstream never connect? Why don't they be real news outlets and tell you about this? Let me read it again. The Iranian regime, meaning the Islamic State of Iran, and the Venezuelan one have been financing the far left in Spain. Why would they be doing that? Over the last 15 years. That's why Pedro Sanchez is the Ayatollah's best friend in Europe and Maduro's best friend.
Y el régimen de Venezuela han estado detrás de la financiación de la extrema izquierda en España durante los últimos 15 años. Y por eso Pedro Sánchez es el mejor amigo que tienen en Europa los ayatolás y también el mejor amigo que ha tenido Maduro. Y por eso Pedro Sánchez se ha convertido en un problema para la seguridad de los españoles. Pero no solo...
So yeah, I won't play the whole thing because majority of you here might not be Spanish speakers, but that's what he said, what I read out here, plus more. And Nicholas Lissac shared this. He said, I call upon His Majesty the King Philippe VI to invoke Article 62 of the Spanish Constitution, dismiss Pedro Sanchez as Prime Minister, and appoint an alternative. The migrant invasion in Ceuta proves Sanchez is determined to destroy Spain and Europe with it. Act now, save the West. Yes, and if the King doesn't act, maybe Spain are in a similar situation as the United Kingdom, where King Charles is not acting when we have Islamic extremists saying all kinds of evil up and down mosques throughout the United Kingdom, when we have churches burning down, when the king is supposed to be the defender of the faith, meaning the Christian faith in the UK, and he has denied that and is now the defender of quote-unquote faiths. You know, and Joey Marino put in his 2 cents, so to speak. Where is the King of Spain? Pedro Sanchez is a corrupt beep that's in the pocket of Soros, but where is the king, and why isn't he stepping in? Just as useless as Charlie in England. Exactly what I was thinking. And even Nigel Farage has spoke on this situation in Ceuta now.
It's time to wake up, everybody. No, I really mean it. Just have a look at these scenes. This is happening today in Ceuta, the Spanish enclave in North Africa. Yep, it is Spanish territory. Tens of thousands, maybe more, breaking in to that little part of Spain. The authorities seemingly powerless to act, and yes, of course, they've declared a state of emergency. Bear this in mind. Earlier this year, Spain gave an amnesty to 500,000 people who'd illegally got into the country. The messages from Spain are clear. You know, come in and you'll be allowed to stay. Some of you might remember a poster I put out 10 years ago called Breaking Point, where I showed vast numbers illegally breaking into the European Union. I made the point that if we vote for Brexit, we'll have the power to stop those people coming here. Sadly, the Tories failed us, Labour have failed us. Believe me, unless we get a reform government, those scenes you're seeing.
Or restore Britain government. But yeah, this isn't about that. But
in Spain today, many of those young men, lots of them dangerous, will be heading towards Calais and coming to our country too.
Now, I agree with Nigel Farage here. That is exactly what they want to do. They're going to head to France, they're going to try and cross into the United Kingdom, and then get into migrant hotels, etc., etc. You know the rest of the story, right? And if you don't, subscribe, because we show a lot of that information over here continually.
It is time to wake up. This is a battle for the future of our civilization. I can't put it any more plainly than that.
Yeah, good job, Nigel, for actually speaking out about this, actually. Now, Dominic, the MEP of Poland, he says, this is war. And he shared the video that I've shown you many times now. But it's interesting how he is also getting involved and saying, this is war. He's pointing it out. He's showing the people exactly what needs to be shown. And it's crazy how these are the people who are normally demonized. Danny Tomo once again said, make no mistake, we are not in a crisis. We are in a state of war. Do you agree? Do you believe that this is a state of war? Nick Marshall Tenkoni, who is actually the leader of UKIP, another party over here in the UK that wants to uphold Christian values, says it is time to deploy the military in every European country to arrest the illegals and send them home. Europe needs mass deportations. And I agree 100% that we need mass deportations. We need the military to protect the people of the land. And we need a safe environment for women and children. Women and children should not have to have fear walking down the street. It's absolute lunacy to even have to, it's almost like we have to shout this from the rooftops to get through to these people. And then they call us bigots and Islamophobes for just speaking the truth. It's mad. David Santos says, police charge against outraged Spaniards in Ceuta. I haven't seen a single video of a beating of an illegal in these hours. This is the one I was talking about earlier. Thank you, Victoria, by the way. Greatly appreciate your support. This is the one I was talking about earlier where the Spanish police and military seem to be beating the natives, right? But they're not doing this to the illegals who are crossing the border. Take a look.
¡Hijos de puta! ¡Vamos, vamos! Papá, sal, por favor. Sal, por favor. Sal, por favor, sal. Salícate de este, no tiene cárcel, perro. ¡Cabrones! ¡Hijos de puta! Bonita, por favor. Pasa. Y me va a reventar esto. Pasa. Entra para atrás. ¿Eh? ¡Hijo de puta! Esto es normal, gente española.
So the police have beat up this native Spaniard, but what are they doing to the illegals who are burning down the streets?
Gente española. Gente española. ¡Gente española! ¡Sin vergüenza! ¡Soy ofendido! ¡Perros cabrones! ¡A un hombre, no! Vaya poca vergüenza, macho. Vaya poca vergüenza. Vaya tela. ¡Qué asco de gente, macho! ¡Asco, tío! ¡En la frontera no hay cojones! ¡No tenéis huevo de defender a España! ¡No tenéis huevo! ¡En la frontera no hacéis nada! ¡Qué poca vergüenza, qué hijos de puta! ¡Allí no hacéis nada en la frontera! ¡En la frontera no hacéis nada! ¡Cabrón, hijos de puta! ¡Soy unos abusones con placa! ¡Conmigo ya marcar a los niños! ¡Sí! ¡Me cago en todo un muerto! ¡Hijo de puta! ¡Vaya de aquí, Nenia! ¡No me lo traigo aquí! Déjalo.
So yeah, you get the point, right? The police are beating the Spanish natives who are against the illegal migrants. But what's going on with the illegal migrants? Calvin Robinson, he said the following: Europe is being invaded right under our noses. The politicians are not on our side. They are perpetrating it. The European people need to rise up. No one is coming to the rescue. Remigration now. What do you think about that post from Calvin Robinson? He has a lot of pretty much uncensored takes online. And Eva, remember Eva, the lady I made the video on about the Save the Europe Act? She said the following: Dear Spaniards, dear Europeans, we are being invaded. We are being governed by traitors who orchestrated this. The situation is critical. We cannot despair. Channel your energy into demanding that every single person storming Ceuta be sent back. Join Save the Europe Act now.
Right now, as you're watching this video,
thousands of immigrants are pouring into our borders. Now, as you're watching this video, thousands of immigrants are pouring into our borders. Those were the words that we used kicking off the Save Europe campaign to make it clear to everyone what the absolute urgency of the matter here in Europe is. And that reality has once again become extremely visible. Right now, in Ceuta, there is an invasion going on, an orchestrated invasion. Because make no mistake, Pedro Sanchez wants this. The European Union wants this. If they did not, they would do everything in their power to stop this from happening. But instead, what do? They will welcome these people in, these young military-aged fighting men in, because this is their policy. Pedro Sanchez, out of all people, is the one who does it most out in the open. He is legalizing 3 million illegals as we speak. Do you really think that he minds a few more? No, he doesn't. It is exactly what he wants. But now it is really important, our Spanish friends, that you do not despair, because despair won't lead anywhere good. What you need now is to get angry and to challenge this energy and put it to something useful, because there is a solution to this. It's called remigration, and we are demanding it with the Save Europe Act. So Spain, you need the Save Europe Act more than ever. Spain should top the charts right now and be the #1 country signing this.
Let's look at those statistics real quick. So Netherlands are at the top right now, 83,000, then Germany, then Italy, then the United Kingdom, then Spain. Okay, so Poland, they're probably all the way down here because they've already secured their borders. We've seen what they've been doing. Anyways.
Be the #1 country signing the Save Europe Act. We have our activists on the ground that are spreading the word about the Save Europe Act, but you need to do the same thing too. Because for Spain, the situation is critical right now. So everyone in Spain, all the people who are watching this right now, share the Save Europe Act and channel your energy. Show Pedro Sanchez who is boss.
So yeah, very interesting. And if you don't already know this, the Save the Europe Act had so many signatures, and they tried to take it to the European Union, and they was actually physically blocked from entering, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, these scenes have spread across the world now. And I just want to show you why they want to get to the UK, all right? One of the reasons. Everyone that allowed this to happen should, at the bare minimum, spend the rest of their lives in prison. And this is the UK.
New built 4-bedroom social housing property we've been offered. This is us going around to check and make sure there are no safety concerns before we accept this property and move in. The garden was quite a good size with a shed. The front we had a few safety concerns. We then proceed to go up to the rooms and check everything. This is a 4-bedroom property, new build, like I said, for a family of 8 with 4 children. We need a property that have enough space for adaptation, like stair lift, grab rails, and other medical equipment to be fitted in. So unfortunately, this property will not meet our household need and medical needs. So we turn it down and we offer a second property. The second property is a 5-bedroom property.
Just let that settle in. They said no to a 4-bedroom house for free, and the UK government offered them a 5-bedroom house.
We did the same check with the garden, quite a good size. We love it. When proceed inside, look around and everything, like I said, is something that we really, really like. This can be medically adapted with the adaptation that we need in the property to make life easy for myself and my special needs children.
Now, I don't know about this family, so I'm not going to speak on this specific family, but what I will say is it's become very abundantly clear that England is a joke. People work their entire lives to get a home, right? And the UK government give homes out to people who don't work but have lots of children. It doesn't make any sense. And this is why migrants try to come over to the UK, because they see the UK as weak. They see the West as weak. That's another reason. Another reason is Islam trying to spread it. Another reason is lefties bringing them over for votes. Now, what I find very interesting is Charlie Kirk said this: mass migration is a weapon being used to take over the West. And this was before he was obviously assassinated, sadly. He was a very big, bold voice against the left and against Islam. And it was only, I believe, a few days or the day before he was assassinated, he spoke out against Islam, which is pretty interesting. And Elon Musk also said a very quote-unquote controversial thing recently. He said, either we fight back or they will kill us. What do you think about this? It seems that people's opinions online are becoming very uncensored. It's almost as if people don't care anymore. They're just going to say what's on their minds. British Patriot came out with the following: Britain, Europe, and America have two enemies: Islam and the left. So, you know that guy who I was telling you about a while back? This priest or whoever he is? I want to show you his speech just in case you haven't seen it.
Now we're witnessing an invasion. They are not refugees. No, this is an invasion of mass Islamization of Europe. And so
you hear that? He said it himself. This is a priest saying that this is an invasion of Islam.
this is a mass Islamization of Europe. And so this is a global political agenda by the powerful of the world to destroy Europe culturally and religiously. I mean, to destroy Christianity ultimately in Europe. Now,
you see, so that is the goal. They want to remove Christianity from Europe, and I really do believe this. I believe that is their end goal. They don't want a Christian culture to rule the land. They want something weak that they can control, and that is why they're trying to weaken the Western nations and, well, do what they're doing right now. Now, this guy right here, Brett Pike, he made this post, and I haven't actually watched the video yet, but it seemed very interesting, so we can watch it together. I actually want to know what he's talking about here. He says, in 711 AD, Muslims from Morocco conquered Spain and would rule over the country for 800 years until Christian crusaders expelled them in 1492. But here we are today with Spain voluntarily leaving their borders open. That's interesting, isn't it? That's what happens when you don't know your history. And then I played a little bit of this clip and it seemed interesting, so let's check it out.
80,000 Muslims just crossed the border of Morocco into Spain, and you have to think that if the Spanish people knew their own history, they never would have allowed this to happen. Because 7-Eleven isn't just a convenience store that sells poison. It's the year that Muslims from Morocco conquered Spain, and Islam would rule over Spain for, ready for it? 800 years. And I mean ruled over them, like turned them into slaves and sold them to the Ottoman Empire. And the most valuable slaves, they weren't the men, they wanted the woman. Because in the Ottoman Empire, in the Muslim world, sexual slavery was legal. And the Ottoman Empire enslaved millions of Europeans because they liked what they saw and they just took it as a prize for battle, which all the socialists in Spain who wanted these open borders are about to discover. But luckily for the West, the Crusades were a real thing. And in Spain, the Crusades were called the Spanish Reconquista. And after 800 years, Christendom took Spain back. 800 years. And do you know what year they finally took Spain back? And when I tell you this, you'll know how bad the public school education system is, because every American should know this. In 1492, the same year that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And
you see why they hate Christianity now?
And if you read his diary, it gets really interesting, and it relates to all of this. But in 1492, Christian Spain expelled the Muslims and the Jews. And why did they do that? Well, on the one hand, they claimed that they wanted a united Christian country after being ruled for 800 years. But many Spanish historians argued that there was a belief amongst the Spanish people that the Jews had assisted the Muslims in conquering Spain at Toledo in 711. Modern historians say that's not the case, that those beliefs are overblown. But that's what they say on both sides of the argument, and I'll let you decide. But regardless of what happened, Spain became the most powerful empire in all of the world after 1492. And that is really interesting. And this is why I write books on how information...
So yeah, very interesting, right? This guy putting the puzzle together, or putting claims together, should I say. You know, Mike Winger, he's been heavily going after Islam recently, which is very interesting because he is a, I believe he's a Christian YouTuber or something. But he said ISIS stabbed them and cut their heads off while recording it. Morocco, the same country that just sent tens of thousands of men into Spain in a coordinated invasion. And it was in response to this from Basil the Great, which says liberal propaganda convinced these women that Muslims were friendly and peaceful. These lies cost them their lives. So yeah, people need to realize that an ideology that teaches that people who are non-Muslims are less valuable than Muslims shouldn't be welcomed into a place where the majority of people are not Muslim. Seems like a pretty logical thing, right? Marcus said, Morocco attacked Spain today. Article 5 of the NATO treaty. It seems to me that a lot of these treaties are ignored when they don't fit an agenda. Just saying. And Neoa Berg had another insight where she said 100,000 fighting age men invading Spain, all Islamic, all fanatical, most of whom have murdered and rape in mind. No, it's not the medieval ages. It's 2026. Yeah, we don't want barbaric cultures. This isn't actually about race. This is about ideology. And these people bring with them the most sick ideology in the world, actually. It is the most sick ideology that you're going to come across. And Tommy Robinson said, you work to pay for them to outbreed you, and attached this video. Yeah, you really can't make it up. This is England, by the way. This is actually England. It doesn't seem like England. And even in the little town that I live in right now, recently I've witnessed women in, well, it wasn't actually recently, it was probably like a month or two ago now, but in full burqas, just the eyes showing. I'm like, whoa, this is a predominantly white town that hasn't had, you know, the migrants come out from London and Manchester and Birmingham and get to. But recently I have witnessed more Muslims in the area. Maybe just visiting, but it is very strange. I've heard them speak. They don't seem to be able to speak English, so I don't know if they are, you know, people have come over on boats. But I don't know if I told you the story about 3 weeks ago. I spoke to two of them, and they told me outright that they did come over on a boat, two of them, and they were trying to find their way to a station, a train station. I was like, wow, that's crazy. They're just passing through. Thank God they're just passing through, but the fact they were even here in this tiny little town that I live in, it's basically a village, actually. It is pretty crazy. And I came across this video of the nowhere photographer, right? And this just shows you that these are not caring men coming over to the UK, right? They literally leave their women behind. Look how crazy this is. They leave their women behind. They just turned on the propeller. And shout out to the nowhere photographer for getting this footage. Imagine that.
And once again, we've left the wind behind.
They don't care about them. This is not them protecting their women and children and coming to the UK for safety. This is them abandoning their women and children. Quite literally abandoning their women and children, putting their women and children in danger, leaving them alone, and then claiming that they're here to seek asylum. You know, we need a very, very strong government in power as soon as possible, because these left-wing governments are actually destroying the country. Nick Tenconi posted this today. There's a video attached as well. He said, a migrant has been caught with a hammer on him in Guildhall, Portsmouth. If you are a foreigner and you commit a crime or want to intimidate, assault, hurt, kill, or rape, we do not want you here. You need to go. Britain needs mass deportations. And you know, that view, according to the lefties, is far right. You can't make it up. Wanting to protect your nation from criminals and psychopaths is apparently far right. Take a look at this.
In Portsmouth, we've got a suspect, Muslim, wherever he's from.
Once again, a Muslim, allegedly.
With a hammer, apparently. We got footage. He had a hammer in his hands. Hi. Can I ask what he's being detained for, officer? Can I ask what he's being detained for, officer?
Yeah, matched description of someone who was seen in the area waving a hammer about. We stopped searching, he's got a hammer on him. So
wow.
He's now under arrest for possession of offensive weapon.
Thank you.
Look at the size of that. Look at the size of that hammer he's carrying around.
Was it in the name of Allah? Is that why you did it? Straight into the mental health card. Wasn't me. I'm not well. I'm schizophrenic. Don't know what you're talking about. Reparations for Gaza, and the whole criminal justice system is just waiting to facilitate and accommodate the agenda of two-tier policing and two-tier justice. He'll plead mental health, he'll plead reparations for Gaza, or some absolute nonsense to do with British Empire. The judge will let him off. He'll be released back into society. And for all of you that don't know, there have been so many attempted terror attacks which have been foiled by the British government, but there are also people that did actually kill and maim, etc. And they are now getting out of prison because they've served 10, 15 years, etc. Are they deported? No, they're not deported. So hats off to Hampshire Police. In terms of how they've dealt with the individual there, they're being very polite, they're being very kind. He's been handcuffed, sure, but they're very, very accommodating to him right now. But why are they being nice to him? This is a problem. This is indicative of two-tier policing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to be nice to criminals. Now, I'm not saying that they should break the law, but the level of respect they have for somebody walking around in a threatening way with a hammer is pretty insane. And then when somebody says something wrong, you know they're getting smacked about with a baton. And I don't know if you heard about this situation, but it's very disgusting. We've seen it happen so frequently now that it's kind of vile to even report on it. But I have to, because that's what my channel is about, showing you the truth. Anyway, a 164-year-old historic church has been caught on fire in Leicester last night. Zero comment from the mayor, Johal. What's going on? Why are our churches being burnt down across Europe continually? Continually. It's not a coincidence, right? This is 100% not a coincidence. And the mayors of these places do not even seem to be British natives. Do they care about our churches? Do they care about Christ? Do they care about what this country was built upon? Christian values? No, they don't. KC Kroll says that Roberto Vanassi declares war on Islam. This is apparently what he said. It's in his own language, so I'll read it first. He said, I don't want to wake up tomorrow to see crowds of people praying to Allah in Milan's Piazza del Duomo. Italian schools closed for Ramadan, and I don't want mosques in schools. I hope he becomes the next... Italy's next leader.
Io non mi voglio svegliare domani con una moltitudine di persone che pregano Allah in Piazza del Duomo. Questa è una delle cose pratiche e concrete. Non mi voglio svegliare domani con le scuole italiane che chiudono in occasione del Ramadan o con le moschee ricavate dentro le aule delle scuole italiane. Non mi voglio svegliare domani con una legge che non è uguale per tutti, perché un reato non è più o meno grave in base al colore della pelle, alla religione o all'orientamento sessuale di chi lo commette o di chi lo subisce.
And you know the Argentinian Prime Minister, what he's done recently? He has banned the Muslim Brotherhood. You see, the Argentinian president knows what's going on.
Our friends. We'll find out. We love them. We'll be there for them. And they have a great leader. They have a very great leader. Thank you.
See, the Argentinians know exactly what these Islamic groups want to do. They want to infiltrate education, politics, etc., and change the West into an Islamic state. And that is why the Muslim Brotherhood is being banned. But anybody being funded by these terrorist organizations need to also be tracked. The government need to be checking the backgrounds of these people. Anybody who has been caught doing this in the future needs to face the criminal justice system when the right wing do get in power, or any just common sense government get in power. And recently, right, this has surfaced. Do you know who this is? This is Sneeko, holding what looks like It looks like an AK-47, but the barrel, but the butt of the gun looks a bit different to what an AK-47 rifle is. But it looks to be just not a good situation, right? Why is this Islamist sitting there with a gun? And Drew Pavlov said Sneeko needs to be deported, posted this image, and Elon Musk replied, he will be. And if you don't know who this guy is, he is a lefty Islamist nut job, to be honest. He's an absolutely insane guy. If you go into his chat room, I don't recommend it, but if you've ever seen a clip of him, his chat are filled with extremists, radicals, people trying to promote Islam and the takeover of the West. And just some more proof of this, right? Just some more proof of this. Look what he tweeted recently. He tweeted, the rest of Europe next, and then stated his Islamic statement here. You see this up here? This is Sneeko tweeting, the rest of Europe next. He was praising this situation of Muslims invading Ceuta. He wants that. He wants that to happen. This should be enough for America to realize that this guy does not have America's best interests at heart. He is in that country, infiltrating the country, and praising a satanic ideology and calling for the invasion of Europe by Islamists. He needs to be deported. We don't need these radical leftists brainwashing people on streaming platforms that are actually designed for games and for fun. But he's on there promoting politics and all kinds of insanity. Now, there was a few more things that I wanted to show you, actually, regarding this. Elijah, he said, Sneeko is officially an enemy of Western civilization. This is why you can't trust Haitians or third worlders, even if they're pretending to be your friend. Now, I would change that to Islamists, you know, because there are some Haitians who are Christians. There are some people who are from the third world who are Christians as well. This is about an ideology, not a race. But anyway, let's keep going. They always revert back to this, etc., etc. And people are waking up to the fact that Sneeko is pretty much infiltrating the West. He's serving an ideology that wants to destroy the West, and that's not good. ViceGrad24 also said thousands of migrants are being transported in the backs of trucks straight to the Spanish border. Remember that clip I showed you earlier? Well, we have another video. The video is from Moroccan Ain Laxen, about an hour's drive from Ceuta, and here's apparently more evidence that they are trucking in Moroccan criminals, Islamists, to enter Ceuta and continue the invasion. Look at this. I'm going to mute it because of the copyrighted music, but look at this. Trucks and trucks of them making their way to the Spanish border. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. What do you all think should be done in this situation? And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up button, greatly helps out the channel, free for you to do. And also, you'll get notified when I make more live streams and more videos in the future. If you're interested in this type of information, truthful information, it's definitely a good place to be. This is a channel called Talk, and he's speaking to Harry Redknapp, who is a former Premier League football manager, and I want to show you his take.
Now, what amazes me when I watch all them pictures, they're all young fellas, all young blokes. Where are the women? Is there no women?
No, mate, of course. Let me ask you something as a man of advanced years, right? This is what I've been saying all morning. If you and Sandra were living in a war-torn country with the two boys, right, 20 years ago, and there was bombs raining on your head, would you, Harry Redknapp, have got your passport and buggered off across 7 countries and left her with the bombs, or would you have taken her with you, for God's sake?
Absolutely, absolutely. How would you? They got no intention of going back. They make their way here. They know this is the land of milk and honey. So we accept it all, and it's getting overrun. This country's overrun. I live in Bournemouth. Bournemouth town centre is absolutely gone.
Well, you know why Harry and I are having this conversation? I took our nipper, I took Henry the other day, mate, you know, for his theory driving test, and there's no part of me that's never been honest, and I'm in Bournemouth town centre. I hadn't been there for about 4 or 5 months, and I'm just getting a coffee and waiting. Honestly, Harry, illegal migrants up and down the street. And if we don't tell the truth, people need to know the truth. Bournemouth completely changed, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had some friends come down the other way and said they thought we're in a third world country. I mean, walking down Old Christchurch Road down that way now, it's sad how it's gone.
You see how crazy that is, right? And we saw the videos earlier of these men abandoning their women. It's what they do. They're not coming to seek asylum. They're coming for free things. That's why. And I'll let this lady sum it up for us, sum up this entire situation, because I believe she explains in great detail, and it summarizes everything we've gone through today. Not quite everything, but quite a lot of it. Take a listen.
Today we watched the collapse of Spain's southern border as thousands of Moroccan men forced their way into this small Spanish enclave of Ceuta in just a single day. They climbed over the fences, swam around the barriers, and flooded the streets. Local authorities immediately declared a humanitarian and security emergency. The president of Ceuta formally requested that Madrid declare a national emergency and deploy the army in full force. But Prime Minister Sanchez refused to declare a national emergency and deployed a very minimal military force and continued to speak in the same evasive language that he's used for months. The composition of this movement needs to be stated very clearly. The overwhelming majority of those who crossed are military-aged men. These are young, physically capable men of fighting age, and there are virtually no women, no children, and no elderly. This is not a spontaneous flight of families seeking safety. It's a selective demographic surge of the strongest, most mobile segment of the population. This is an eerily similar pattern to what the United States saw in 2021 under Joe Biden, specifically when thousands of Haitian migrants, predominantly young men, swarmed across the Rio Grande and created a massive encampment under the International Bridge. In both cases, a left-leaning government created the conditions, the demographic skew was unmistakable, and the political class refused to call it what it was. The timing in Spain is also not accidental. Sanchez's socialist government just completed a mass amnesty that gave legal status and work authorization to hundreds of thousands of people already living in Spain illegally. More than 1 million have applied, and approximately 600,000 have already received temporary papers. That policy sent a clear and powerful signal across the Mediterranean. If you were successful in crossing into Spain illegally and remain there for a short period of time, the Spanish government will regularize you. The response was immediate and predictable. The next wave already hit the fence full force. Some of the men who entered Ceuta have already spoken to Spanish television. One stated he was fleeing murder suspicions in his home country. Another admitted that he left the Netherlands specifically to avoid serving a multi-year prison sentence. These are not theoretical concerns. Self-admitted criminals are now inside Spanish territory, and the government continues to describe the entire process as an expression of solidarity and progress. This outcome is the direct and foreseeable product of these socialist and open border policies. Mass amnesty functions as a magnet. Weak border enforcement functions as an invitation. The result is a sudden influx of military foreign men, including individuals with criminal histories, while the Spanish government refuses to recognize the breach as a national security crisis. Spain is becoming a real-world test of these types of policies, and the rest of Europe, and quite frankly, the entirety of the West, is not far behind.
So yeah, brilliant summary there from I believe she's called Priya Patel. Priya Patel. And it just basically sums up a lot of what we spoke about in this live stream. If you did enjoy the live stream and you're not already subscribed, smash that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, share the video with your friends and family. If you got here late, you can go and watch this on the past broadcast. If you do feel led to support my work over here, I go live most days, to be honest, reporting on important situations. Head over to my website, www.saintavs.com. That's www.saintavs.com, and feel free to support in any way that you feel led to. If you don't want to support financially, just share the videos and comment and that good stuff. I greatly appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much for your incredible support. It's amazing to see the community continually growing, how many people are on the side of truth, how many people want to see the West saved from this evil ideological invasion, because that is literally what it is. Anyways, I love you all very much. God bless you all, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom. Shalom.